Wow, House of Cards, right? What a show. I mean, it's like top, it is peaking in its fifth season. And one of the major reasons for that is tonight's special guest here at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. She is a 2-time Emmy winner. She is an Oscar nominee. She is a multiple SAG Award nominee. Please welcome Patricia Clarkson.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. I really, honestly, I'm flattered and honored. I'm so glad there's a room full of people. I didn't know if it was going to be me, my agent, you, and my publicist.
Oh, you kidding? You know, I knew that this was going to be a great house tonight. And you know, Jane Davis, like, what is it about her that just makes her one of your favorite roles, like really up there for you?
Well, as you know, I haven't done a lot of television. I'm just a weirdo, and I'm claustrophobic. I can't marry, and it's hard for me to do a series. It's hard for me to commit to anything, and so when I'd done 6 Feet Under was the last kind of. I've done an episode of Parks and Rec, which I've been, Broad City, a few things, but when I got this script, I remember my agent manager said, listen, there's this great part on House of Cards, and Frank Pugliese, that I know way back from New York, many years, said, we would love Patty to do this. And I said, well, let me read it. I love Frank, but they had told the House of Cards, she's not gonna do it. I picked up the script. I remember I was sitting at my kitchen table, my counter, and I 8 lines in, I don't know, I thought there was something amazing about this woman. And the further I got into it and the more I found out, I didn't get all the scripts. I didn't know where she was going, really. But there was something in the kernel of her. There was something elusive, slightly oddly seductive, like a nerd who's learned to be seductive to get what she wants, and there was, I don't know, it was, and she was odd, and I rarely am asked to play just kind of unusual women.
You said elusive.
Yeah.
And that's the word that really struck me, because she just kind of just pops up. She's just there. Like, there's no fanfare with your entrance. There's no, and here, it's not like that at all. She's just kind of there. And it's a great tightrope that you walk, because she's kind of conniving and like manipulative, and you don't really know like whose side she's on. She's
she'll
pulling the
kill
strings.
You. She will kill you. I mean, yes, she will. But she has an element of, the devil in her, but I think. But a fiercely intelligent devil, and a devil that has worked really hard to get where she is. And that's what I loved. I thought she's not married, she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't have children. I'm always somebody's mother. I'm always, I played everybody's mother at this point. I've played all of your mothers, haven't I? Or next week I will. And so Jane was just this a lone wolf, this lone figure and I wanted her to have not great shoes and a big bad like a bad purse. They were like, maybe she should have. I was like, no, she's not. There's nothing. The externals are not important to her. She's got her shirts and her skirts and her. She occasionally wears some lipstick but her shoes are comfortable, and she's got the right things in her purse, and she's the most intelligent person in the room. And that's what she really is.
How do you prepare to play someone like that? Especially because because of the deputy undersecretary. I mean, that's...
Well, and also, I had to learn Arabic. I'll never forget that line as long as I live. I think what was most important for me in terms of just working in general was to have just a deep personal life of Jane in my head, or the lack thereof, that she doesn't really have a lot that's important to her. She doesn't have family, love, a dog. She doesn't have all of the beautiful accessories love and life that accompany us every day. She has herself, her intelligence, and her contacts. And that, where does that leave one? It leaves one, we so often as actors, we want to act from below the waist, but I'm playing a woman who lives a life above the waist, that lives without heart, that lives really solely with the mind, but where does that take a toll, and where does that really leave her, where are her allegiances, and what truly does matter to her? What are the few things in her life that she really can connect to? And one becomes Robin, and what she notices is someone, a true patriot, a true fellow in intellect, someone who's fierce, unyielding, and withholding in the right ways.
There's a great moment in the season where Jane says to Claire, like, she's pulling the strings. She's definitely knows what she's doing and is in a position of power. But then Jane says to Claire, how did you steal this election? Like, she was scared a little bit of her. Like, it was kind of chilling, this moment of vulnerability that Jane had at that moment.
At that moment. Yes. I mean, this is what ties her to Robin, and this is what ties her to the certain character she notices in Campbell Scott, this new character, someone that she has to be wary of, but yet she has an affinity for. And so there are those moments and she's frightened of how she really feels about, the First Lady, now the President, but how she really feels for her, which I found was a beautiful moment in the middle of House of Cards, this kind of conflicted, is it personal, is it professional? And I said, let's just leave it for whatever it is,
Had you been watching the first 4 seasons, or did you?
I had to go back and look
binge.
I had to binge.
No, that's a good show to binge, by the way.
Oh yes, yes.
That's a great
and
show.
Then you walk in and you see. I mean, I've known Kevin and Robin for many, many years. I did Kevin Spacey's very first movie, Rocket Gibraltar, back in 1988. And it was Burt Lancaster's second to last movie, and it was this beautiful film. It was my second movie, but it was Kevin Spacey's first movie, Macaulay Culkin's first movie, Susie Amos's first movie, Franny Conroy's first movie. It was crazy. And there we all were. Bill Pullman's first movie. There we were all in the Hamptons. It was but I've known Kevin for a very long time, and I've known Robin for quite some time. So it was beautiful to be on the set with them there. extraordinary actors, but they are also live wires. They're a treat and a pleasure to be around.
Let's get into like the live wire aspect of them. Watching the show, they are absolutely live wires, and they are the passion, good or bad, is infectious to watch.
Yes.
So what was it like working, especially after so many years after that first movie that you did with him, working with Kevin, working with Robin as an actress and as a director?
Well, you know, when people you love in this industry and you finally get a chance to work with them, you know, we don't want to be disappointed. We want them to be the consummate actors that we expect them to be, and that's exactly what they were, and they were generous, prepared, giving, quite exceptional to everyone they took, and they take. You know, they are true egalitarians. Everyone on the set is of equal height, and but they're also, they've been doing this for so long, but they don't take it for granted, and that's why they're so good. They know how important and serious this is. But there is also an element of joy, which is where the greatest work sometimes can happen on a set, where there is a devil-may-care attitude at times, which they both have, and Robin is a card. I mean, no pun intended. She's and she's funny as hell, and I spent a lot of time with her, you know, on this through these episodes, and it was just a remarkable moment in my career to work with her and to get to know her, and then to also have the bonus of her as a director. And, you know, we would joke all day, you know, we were, you know, in our, she had her tight clothes, I had on my little dresses and my hair, and you know, we would just be, sometimes just be like, oh, you know, I wanted to get my pantyhose off, and she wanted to get, you know. But we, you know, she's, I think, 50, 57. So, you know, the days get long. And even though I had comfortable shoes on, they weren't really in the 12th hour. But so we commiserated in extraordinary ways, and also just simple ways. And but as a director, she is exactly what you would expect. She is present, very enthusiastic. She understands our rhythms, our tempos. She understands what we need to get to certain places, and how many takes, and that sometimes we just hit it, and she's willing to walk away, or sometimes we don't, and she's very accepting and understanding, and it was a true joy.
So without repeating the ages, the fact that both you and Robin are having such strong characters, strong women, and you don't have to fake, you know, your look or pretend you're 25 or whatever. I mean, how great is that to find such a strong character and not feel like, oh, the best is behind you?
Oh, no. Well, that's why I took Jane, is because I found it just a new journey for me. At this point in my career, I've done a lot. I'm very, very, very lucky. And I want someone to put me at the edge of a pier and dare me to jump. and I this part, just the nuances and the subtleties and just the sheer volume sometimes of the dialogue, I had to prepare in a way that I hadn't. A lot was required of me, and that's what we want as actors. We want people to ask great things of us every time we're out there. And sometimes we're not afforded those opportunities, but when they come along, it's what we need. It's what gets us, you know, through our life as actors. You know,
Now, when did you film season 5? Between when and when?
I took that train to Baltimore. Where grown men will knock you down for a seat on the Acela, like, get out of the way, lady. You take the Acela. I live in New York, so I would travel on the train to New York all from October of last year till February.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you started filming in October, and then the election happens. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because at some point later in this 5th season, Kevin Spacey, I love when he breaks the 4th wall. He's in a car or a limo or something, and he gets in the back seat and he goes, "Okay, are you happy? You asked for this." And I'm thinking, they must have filmed this after the election. How did the election change the direction of the show? If it even did, maybe it didn't at all.
No, all this was written.
No way.
Isn't this crazy? It was written.
That's insane.
It
was so.
I mean, it maybe shifted slightly, but it was. These things are charted out long before you're shooting.
They have to
So
be, yeah. Wow.
it was it was wild sometimes. Art and life, and days on the set when we were spinning. It was difficult. Yeah.
Now, have you all seen the last episode of the 5th season? It's okay. I won't spoil it. It's
well, no,
awesome.
didn't you see? That's what they saw.
Is that what you just saw?
Yes.
Oh, so when she goes, well, I wasn't sure what episode it was. I sort of don't want to spoil it. When she goes, "It's my turn." Oh, it's so great. That's so great. Now, I want to ask. You were talking about Rocket Gibraltar. The movie you did before that, your first movie, 1987, The Untouchables, is your first movie. Kevin Costner, the other Kevin, Kevin Costner, director Brian
Lots
De
of
Palma.
Kevins, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to ask you about some of your highs, the highlights of your career, and just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, God.
Whether it's something about the actor or an actress, the director, maybe the craft services was amazing. But what's the first thing that comes to mind when people ask it, when you hear The Untouchables?
I'll tell you the first thing that comes to my mind is how incredibly kind Brian De Palma was to me. It was my first movie. I was broke off my ass. I was just out of Yale School of Drama. I was living with my roommate from Yale. The apartment prior to us, I got the bedroom, but on this apartment, I had to live in the living room on a couch. And I was doing a play, but I auditioned and got The Untouchables. And Brian was Brian is not, Brian is an unusual man. And I would say elusive and withholding. And, but I remember what he did is, Miss Ness, Catherine Ness, was never in the courtroom. And he said, "I think you should be in the courtroom, Patty. And you know what? We're not shooting that courtroom for a month. So Paramount's going to have to pay you for a whole month to go back and sit in New York." And I was like, "Brian, I love you." That's what I remember. Other than many, many things, but I remember the kindness of Brian De Palma.
That's what I'm going for. The first thing, freeform thinking. Tell me about playing Gretta in 1998's High Art. That is an amazing movie.
Pleather pants. It was the largest heat wave in the history of New York City. This was a $500,000 movie. There was no air conditioning. And I had on, because we couldn't afford leather, so I had pleather pants on. So every day I would show up. Thank God I was playing a heroin addict. because everybody was like, how did you get that look? I said, I had on pleather pants. It was from the waist down. I was 110. I would put these pleather pants on, and I would get on the set and just be like, that's how I found Gretta.
Next, I want to ask about The Green Mile, Tom Hanks, Frank Darabont. Anything. Craft service is great on that one.
No, beautiful Michael Duncan. Again, Frank Darabont had asked me to, he said, I hate to say this, but I just want you to be as thin as you can possibly be. You're dying. So I was like a stick by the time we started to shoot, but Michael Clark Duncan was massive. This gorgeous, beautiful, heartbreaking man. I loved him. And one day in the trailer, I was so damn skinny and he was so huge. They used to send coolers of food to him to bulk him up. So Warner's literally would just have coolers of food left on his doorstep. But one day in the trailer, I lifted my top, just to here, and his arm was bigger than my waist.
Oh, he's a big guy, yeah.
I don't know why I remember that. And we laughed, and we had this beautiful connection from the moment we met, and it, art and life merged in those few brief moments we had in the film.
2003 was a terrific year. Let's talk about your Oscar-nominated performance in Pieces of April.
Yes, Pieces of April. What do I remember? Tiny, tiny station wagon with me and Oliver Platt, and we had no trailer or we had no holding area even. So we would be in that, all five of us would be in that little car, and we just stay in the car. And the producer would literally, John would go get us a bag lunch and bring us our lunch, and we just sit in the car, eat our sandwich, and be like, okay. And then Peter Hedges would be like, okay, let's get back to shooting. And we just, throw our bag lunches in the garbage, and so we just stayed in that little car. I remember Oliver Platt. I loved him. Yeah, I loved him. Loved working with him. Loved everything about him. Yeah.
That same year, The Station Agent.
Oh yeah.
It's a good year.
It was a great year. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, Pete and Bobby. Oh my God, we were like a little traveling road show. Like, we were living in the Holiday Inn off a highway. A Holiday Inn. That was all, again, a $500,000 film, and I remember the three of us in that Holiday Inn at night when we'd finished shooting, and we had tiny rooms, but enormous refrigerators. I don't know why. Like the refrigerators were bigger than the rooms. I don't know. I know I should be saying like serious things about what I remember, but these are the things I take away. I just remember the off-screen time I spent with Bobby and Pete, and again, what we had off camera was living on camera. We had a beautiful friendship that we carried forward.
What was your biggest takeaway from 6 Feet Under? It's a loaded question.
Probably working with Franny Conroy and Kathy Bates, and they used to call us the three tenors, and they say, get the three tenors on the set. And it just what I learned from those two remarkable women, what I learned about life and this industry and acting, watching masters work. They were great, great, great.
Something about watching director George Clooney work on Good Night and Good Luck. Love that movie. Amazing
I love
movie.
George. Oh, he was a dreamboat. He truly is. I mean, he doesn't really have to be so handsome because he's so divine and talented, and he's fiercely intelligent and funny, and he's a light. You're just drawn to him, and he's a beautiful director, organic and very informed, and very much in control.
We have some questions from SAG-AFTRA members in the audience. One of them is from Jeff.
Oh God,
Jeff is right over there.
Jeff, be kind. I've been up since 5:30. I've been shooting all day. I have. Hence, these are not my real nails. I'm doing a character right now.
Oh, wow.
I'm shooting an HBO. I'm like Miss TV. I'm doing an HBO miniseries right now with Amy Adams, gorgeous
wow,
Amy
right.
Adams. Yes, I'm playing her mother. No, I am. But she's playing younger. Young.
Sharp
She's
Objects,
much
right?
younger. Yes, sharp.
Sharp Objects, wow.
She's playing young, and we mention it often in the miniseries that I had her when I was a child.
All right, Jeff's question is, what was your most challenging role and why? Was it one of the ones I just mentioned?
You know what's interesting? It might be exactly what I'm doing right now. This part has eaten my lunch. It really has been. I played Blanche Dubois many years. In 2004 at the Kennedy Center, and it was a remarkable but wounding experience. And this journey that I'm on right now with Jean-Marc Vallée, he directed Big Little Lies, and it's this really dark, deeply troubled, deeply flawed, sadistic, masochistic character. And yet very glamorous. So it's control top pantyhose and emotion all day. Was that overshare? I don't know. But I am surrounded by a great director and great actors. But it's a journey I will not soon forget. The one I'm on right now.
This next question is from two people, Kiki and Esther.
Hello.
Hi, Kiki and Esther.
Hi, Kiki. Esther.
If there is one piece of advice you would tell your younger self, what would it be?
Don't drink so much bourbon. No.
Well, hey, that works.
No. I think as actors, I think the most important thing I think it's as I've aged, we get better as actors. That's why it's sinful for us not to work as we get older, because we know what the hell we're doing at a certain point. But that to always, I think at times I look back at some of my earlier work and the character wasn't in me, it was on me. And that's not good. And I think we can think about the externals of a character, and our hair and our makeup and our wardrobe and, are crucial. And the way, the shoes and the way we walk and the body never lies. And that's, I think, a beautiful part as an actor. But I think if we if we don't have the emotional life of that character so deep within us, if we haven't done our damn homework, we're screwed. At some point, you're screwed. Because all the directing in the world, all the takes in the world, all the hair and makeup, all the great wardrobe, all the wigs, nothing's going to help you if you don't know how to get to the truth of that character. And that's only something you can do. And sometimes you have to learn it the hard way.
Wow. That was a great question. You want to see something really interesting, go to IMDb, type in Patricia Clarkson. She's got a lot, like filming, in production, pre-production. So I just want to like go through real fast here. This is what you've got coming up. A movie with a director, Sally Potter, called The Party.
Beautiful film. It stars Kristen Scott Thomas, Timothy Spall. Oh, it's like an actor's feast. Emily Mortimer, Cherry Jones. Oh, it's just wonderful. Cillian Murphy. It's 7 of us. We showed up in London with Sally Potter and shot this beautiful. It's 72 minutes, 74 minutes or something, and it's a wonderful film. And I shot that, and it's coming out this year or next or something.
Jonathan with Ansel Elgort.
Oh, Ansel Elgort.
Baby Driver.
He's so tall.
He is tall.
And I kept asking him, why aren't you 50? Oh my God, he's so handsome. My little neighbor across the hall was swooning every day. She'd text me, are you on the set with him right now? Are you looking at him? Are you saying words to him? And I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, he's a beautiful actor and a really fine and very emotionally available, wonderful, stunning actor. So I finished that. Yes, I finished Sally Potter, Jonathan.
And then you have Out of Bloom, which you're playing like a kick-ass detective.
That I shoot. I finish. See, this is what happened. I'm 57. And this is what can happen sometimes. People start hiring you. And you have to have a great agent, which I have, who's here tonight. Yes, I finished the mini-series, and then I'm shooting this amazing loose adaptation of Night Train, the Martin Amis book about the detective. And with Carol Morley, she directed The Falling, this wonderful, amazing British director. I mean, I'm just pinch myself. And we're shooting at New Orleans, my hometown. So, yes, woohoo! Are you a New Orleanian? Oh, yay. We'll talk after.
Okay. I want to ask, because, the series that you're filming now with Amy Adams, there have been so many shows on HBO, Amazon, Netflix especially. I mean, House of Cards changed everything. What's your take on, like, boom, season, 13 episodes, right there. Watch it as many as you want, watch it as slow as you want. Like, what's your take on how that's changed the game?
Well, I think it's a model that works. And finally someone decided, well, hey, maybe you'd like to watch more than one episode. I mean, I don't mind the old model, when you can week to week, there is a kind of a beautiful suspense and a beautiful elegance to that in a way, and talking around the water cooler that can happen. But I think it's a wonderful model that someone was really smart to finally do, and I'm thrilled to be a part. I mean, I remember the day all of House of Cards dropped. I've never been in a series and I remember thinking, I said to a friend of mine, I said, I think House of Cards just dropped. You know, it was like midnight on some night. I was talking to him. He was, I was like, I think House of Cards just dropped. And I've never said those words in my life. So, it's sexy. It's beautiful to be a part of something so great.
What made you want to be an actress? You remember the moment where you said, that's what I want to do? And who was it who inspired you to do that?
I was always, I was an emotional child. I have 4 older sisters. I'm the baby of 5 girls. So I grew up in a house of many women. My mother, my father grew up in a house of 6 women and 2 female dogs. He's still alive. No, he loved it. He still loves it. It's his favorite time when all of us get together. I remember in 8th grade I had a speech teacher named Mrs. Morrison. And we had to give speeches. I gave a speech. And she said to me, I think you're an actress and you should join the drama club. And that was that simple. I said, oh. And that's how it all started. And then I started acting in junior high, and then in high school I had a remarkable mentor in high school, my acting teacher. And then I had these incredible mentors at Fordham, Joe Giuseppe at Fordham, and then these incredible teachers at Yale School of Drama who it took me to places I had never been,
When you were in the earlier part of your career, was there the best piece of advice you got from a director, actor, actress, co-star that you sort of opened your mind to things that you hadn't been doing up to that point? Mm-hmm. An epiphany that you might have had working with someone. Do you remember what that might have been?
Like someone that one moment when someone said, well, it's hard because I've had so many.
That's good.
But it maybe comes back to something, I remember I was playing Hedda Gabler at Fordham. And Joe Giuseppe said, you don't have to reach for anything, Patty. It's just all right there. And he pointed to me, and then he touched me, and he said, it's just all right here. And I said, oh, okay. and it, I guess it's just, it's the trust, it's trusting, it's hard as actors because every day we trust is broken and it's brutal and it's competitive and it's difficult to work in our industry. There's so many of us and so many talented people and are infinitely talented, and people who haven't had breaks, people who have had many breaks, but it is a game we play that never ends, and you can be George Clooney and you're still always having to, you always have to keep going, you have to keep reaching,
In closing, do you have any parting words of advice for the actors in this room?
Yes, that we love what we do. We do, and I don't know. I can't do anything else. And I don't want to do anything else. And I assume all of you feel the same. And so we're not going anywhere. We're here. We're here to act and play these great characters. And somebody better give us a job.
That's good advice. Patricia Clarkson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation.